Okay, just making sure everything's set. Let's get that out of your way. Should be good there. Belly in the picture. That's what's required, and that's the most important part. Some stuff around. Check out some other work I'm doing. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna check some other streams, see if I can see anything from my other. See what's on here. Okay, that looks good. Check my YouTube one. I'm trying to use a software that's supposed to kind of gather everything. But I'm not sure how well that's working. Well, hopefully the YouTube one's working. Let me, Nate. Thank you, Nate. I knew I could count on you to come and participate in this awesome stream. I'm just trying to check my YouTube one, seeing if that is working. Oh yeah, it is. Awesome. I'm seeing myself on there. That's fun. There is a pretty good delay. Yeah, there's like a 10-second delay. Awesome. Well, I'm glad it's working. All right. Well, like I said, I have these awesome opals. I recently got them. Let's see if you can see this one. The autofocus doesn't work super well for this camera. So thank you, Sergeant Suicide 82. That's awesome. Thanks for confirming that. I thought I could see it on mine, but I'm glad that you're able. And also, it's awesome because I can see your chats coming in. So this program I'm using. It's called Restream.io, and apparently they take multiple like Facebook. Right now, I'm trying to stream at the same time to Facebook, YouTube, and then I also did Twitch because why not? So. But yeah, so I'm looking at this. This is my precious, or my what I'm really excited about, and it has really good color, and it's about. Let me get the scale. I'll tell you what the weight is right now. I should take some. Before and after pictures. So right now, the weight is 50.8 carats. Now, when you're cutting the opal, you can't weigh it while you're cutting it because it's actually going to absorb water, and we'll actually see it go way more clear while we're cutting it. And so the opal will absorb some of that water, and it'll weigh heavy. So you always want to make sure your opal's dry. But man, just looking at this opal right here in the light, it is really brilliant. So I'm kind of nervous that I don't want to screw this up. So just going to go ahead and take some pictures. proof that I once had an amazing opal. So if I mess it up, it's still there. So let me take some pictures. All right, that one is ready. The next one I'm going to do, well, we'll see how long I get, how far I get. This one is a pretty good one. It has some really good color as well, and I wish that focus would work better. But it has some good color as well. And this one is 20 carats. So I'll take a picture of that, and then some before and afters. And this one, this is the third of my my high-end ones from the same order. And I wish you could see this. I might pull up the light. I might come and get my flashlight so you guys can see that a little bit better. This one I'm actually not going to cut today. I think I want to actually split this and make it into earrings because the color is really similar to that other opal. So, and then I also have some right here. I might start out on like this one, just to get just to warm up a little bit, so I don't warm up on my nice expensive one. So let me see if I can show you guys these opals a little bit better. So I'm going to come up here to the light, and I'm going to put the light on this. Let's see, is that working? You can kind of see it. I need to figure out the setup a little bit more. But you can kind of see those greenish sparkles. What I'll do is, once it finishes drying out, I'll post a better, a better video, and I'll post the pictures and stuff so you can kind of see what the before and after look like. First thing you're going to do with the opal before you start cutting is you're going to kind of get, one thing I did, I have nice clean water here with the genie. I have the genie pixie because it's nice and small. It's light enough I can carry it around, and it fits, it's not too messy, and so I can keep it into my little work office. Oh, and I'm going to switch my glasses. Kind of go to my work glasses so my nice glasses don't get messed up. There, how does that look? So first thing I like to do when I'm picking out opals, if you guys are curious, is to, well, first I'm going to check the color. You always want to take a light or something. So I check the color, like this one. This one's decent, has some cool color, but I'm not wowed by it. So that one will kind of go on my back burner. This one has some good color, but the body tone is kind of beige, so I'm not sold on the beige color, so I'll put that on the back burner or whatever. This one, yeah. Let's see, this one, I was looking at this one earlier. This one is I really like this one. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to candle it from behind. And right now what I'm doing is I'm looking for any cracks inside the opal. Because if you see a crack, you do not want that in the opal itself. You want to get rid of all the cracks, because the cracks can kind of spread out and become a little bit worse and break your opal. And especially you don't want that when it's, when you've already sold it and everything. I see that question of how much this already cost, or how much this cost the machine. This Pixie costs about, I think it's $1,500 about, which is pretty good. The next step up is like their full-size Genie, and that one is I think about $2,300. So this one works for me. I like it. The wheels are small. The wheels are only 4-inch wheels instead of the 6-inch wheels, so they don't last. The wheels themselves won't last as long as the 6-inch wheels, but it fits what I need perfectly. I can't really complain about the Genie or about the Diamond Pacific Pixie. The only thing I could say is that I don't really like how it uses the water geyser as the water system, because once you've been working on stones all day, that water is really muddy, and so you either have to keep on changing that water, or risk using water that has other grit or material in there. So it's not too bad if you're working with the same stones all day, but if you're ever mixing up stones, you really want to make sure that you're cutting your softer stones first and your harder stones later on. So yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And if you have questions, just feel free to throw them up in the chat. I'll be watching for that. This is kind of a long process, and I'm probably going to start just to kind of warm up, like I said, on one of these other opals that I'm not quite so worried about, because I have quite a bit riding on this one. It was a kind of expensive to get the rough, and it has the potential of being a really high value opal once cut. I mean, I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that the final value will be, 1,000 or more. So here it goes. So this one, I'm just going to go ahead and take away some of the clay and kind of clean it up a little bit. And then I'll move to some of these other ones, the more expensive ones. So if someone, let me know if you can still hear me. That would be nice at some point, because it is kind of a loud machine. The mic should have some type of sound, balancing thing, but let me know if you can hear me or if you can't. I got my mug of Mountain Dew here. I love this mug. It holds 2 cans of Mountain Dew. Perfect. Thank you, Don. Awesome. So right now you'll see there's a bunch of clay on this opal. And so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the clay. And I'm not going to go very fast. And you notice that I'm not using the highest grit. I'm using the second most. And I've already used this wheel quite a bit. So it actually isn't as strong of a grit anymore. So that's what I'm using, so it doesn't take away too much material. And I don't want the wheels to chip the opal while I'm working on it. And you can feel it's kind of, with the Ethiopian opals, most of them are hydrophane, which means they'll absorb water. And you can feel it, even when your hands are wet or whatever, the opals feel sticky. So it is kind of interesting. So right now I'm not even going to go for a shape yet. I'm just getting off that clay so I can see what kind of shape I can do it afterwards. I can already see that this one is a nice thick opal, and it would make it'd be really easy to make into a nice trillion shape. I don't even know how to say it. Trillion shape or whatever. So that's probably the shape we'll go with this one. But there are still some pockets that I want to get rid of clay and of divots. Yeah, most of the opals I cut, I plan to sell. I'm not very good at listing all of them, but I do plan to sell them, eventually. So it is kind of nice because I am able to buy more rough when I sell an opal. So the other day I actually made my biggest sale just recently on one of the opals I cut. It wasn't a set in it. I hadn't set it in any jewelry, so it was just a loose opal, but it had a really cool pattern. It kind of looked like the stars from the painting Starry Night. It was really cool opal. And so it's kind of like, I'm sad to see it go, but I was also happy because then I could buy more opal rough to cut. And I actually used some of that money to buy some of this nice stuff. So right here, you see this little geyser, this brass little thing. What that's doing, it's just an air pump. This hose is an air hose, and this is just bubbling, and it's powerful enough that it shoots the water up onto the wheel. You always want to use the wheels when they're wet. You never want to use the wheels dry. Okay, I'm bored with that one. Let's do the big one. Oh, and for those that watched my other stream when I was working on the ring, I still have to polish it up a little bit, but here is the result of that ring. Uh, I need to find a different camera that can focus. Uh, it's done. Where did I purchase my rough? I actually purchased this from a number of places. I purchased some straight from my Australian opal. I purchased some from the miners themselves in Australia at Lightning Ridge, and this Ethiopian opal. This stuff, this nice piece, I actually found on Reddit, and I was just walking through some of the opal threads there. And I just reached out to one of the people that looked like they might sell some. So that's where I got this one from. Hey Luke, how's it going? It's been a while. All right, just making sure. Hey Mark, how's it going? Making sure. I can't see if you don't comment or if you don't message. I can't see if you're actually attending or not. So if you want me to say hi, go ahead and comment. And look at, even my mom's attending the stream. Thanks, Mom. All right, so we are going to start this opal. And right now it's 50 carats. I'm hoping that you typically lose anywhere from 75% to 50%. So I'm hoping that we get a 25 carat gemstone at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do, this one you can see that clay a little bit easier. I'm going to take off all of that clay. And this one, there are a few cracks I really need to be careful around. And so like right here on this edge, I'm using this light to look at it. On this edge, there's a crack right there. So I'm actually going to take care of that first and carefully grind it away, hoping that it doesn't crack further. I'm just going to go slow and just slow. I would definitely be very sad if I messed this opal up. Earlier today, I was kind of getting ready for this. I was getting all excited, so I was looking up different opals online or different opal jewelry stuff. And I saw this YouTube channel, and I forgot the name of the YouTube channel, but all they do is they just kind of resell people's jewelry. And they had an Ethiopian opal. It was about 14 carats, and it was in a 14 karat white gold setting, and it had a diamond halo. And the color looked fairly similar to what I think I'll get out of this. And they said that they were selling it for $16,000. So I really don't want to mess this up. And you may see me cry if I do. I mainly cut opal, Sergeant Suicide. Most of the time it's just me and the opal, and I do the Ethiopian opal, Idaho opal, the Spencer Idaho triplets, and then also Australian opal. I also am trying to get some more star garnet from Emerald Creek in North Idaho. That's something I also want to try to start cutting. But those are the main ones I do. And the key, go as slow as you need. Don't rush it. All right, so I got rid of that main crack, but there's still some ridges. No, Mark, I'm not. If this works out, I'll buy more opal, and I'll make more videos, but I won't be taking everyone to dinner. I'll take Lauren. She might, well, she's at rehearsal. I'll take Lauren to dinner. For determining what shape I want to cut it, the first thing I'll do is I get rid of all the clay. I'll kind of clean it up, kind of make it where it's, the rest of it is actually usable opal. And then from there, I'll decide what shape. Usually you go with, you want to get the amount, you want to get the highest yield out of your stone. So you'll probably, like this one, I'm expecting to go for an oval because it already looks like an oval. And so it's going to be an easy conversion to an oval stone, I hope. Sometimes I'll still do freeform, where you don't really use a stencil or you don't use like a symmetrical shape. You just kind of cut it into whatever shape you want. But I kind of prefer symmetrical stones. All right, let's see what that did. All right, that got rid of the main crack. There's still a crack right there that I need to keep on kicking out. And you'll see, probably before the end of the day, before I stop the stream, you'll see that the stone has gone completely clear. Like no color or anything. It's pretty crazy. And that's just an Ethiopian thing. Ethiopian opal, they'll absorb the water, and as it absorbs the water, it goes clear. I'm also kind of keeping it even so that I'm expecting this that I'm working on right here will be the top, and this side, well, actually, no, reverse that. This will be the bottom, and this lumpier side will be the top. Hey Brenda, how's it going? So this opal has a really cool pattern. It's what like you'd call the honeycomb pattern. This is a really good opal. Okay, now you're more worried. I should stop looking at it and just cut it. All right, so I mainly got that crack out of it that I saw. There's still a little bit there, but I think I'll come in from this side where there's clay and then work on it from that side because it's just right there at the edge. Okay, so next I'm going to work on the rest of the clay and then we'll see what we have after that. Right now, I'm basically getting rid of everything that's not opal, and then also getting rid of all the divots. So right there, that was a big chunk of clay that basically took off that whole corner right there. Well, I'm going to try something. I want you guys to see this. So I'm going to try to move the camera a little bit so you guys can have a better view of the process. So bear with me for a second. Yeah, yeah, Sergeant Suicide. That's kind of what, it's just so cool. I want to show you guys more. So let me try to rearrange this. I'm using Lauren is letting me use her webcam that she got for teaching lessons online. And then I'm using my cool little tripod thing that I think my dad bought for me when I asked him a while ago, and I said I'd pay him back, and I still need to pay him back. So sorry, Dad. I need to get you that money. Okay, let me think of how we can do this. I might try to take it. And now this, it might, once I do this, it might go a little bit more bumpy because then it'll be on the same table as my cutting machine. So, but let's see. It's still too far. No, that's not going to work. Dang it. Here, let's try this close up and see how that works. Okay. Well, that's a little closer. So you can kind of see it. No, my hands block it. Here, what I can do. Here, this is what I could do. Instead of worrying about that, I'll still put myself in this, my beautiful picture in this. And then what I can do is I can just simply take the camera and show you guys. Did you like that picture of my nice belly? I hope you all enjoyed that. All right, so here is where we're at right now with the opal. Trying to get, there we go. All right, so this is the opal we're at right now. And what I'm working on is I'm working on getting rid of all this clay. Do you see this clay right here? That's what I'm working on. I can already see that I want to have a chip right here because that's just what happens when you're working on opal is that starts to kind of chip up. And that's why you kind of want to get rid of all the cracks. But it happens. You just kind of have to live with it. But once it goes back into focus, now what we're looking for, look at that color. And now since I've been working on it, it's not as polished as the one that was kind of broken off. But there's this awesome pattern that you can kind of see. Let me get it wet. So right there, that repeating kind of snaky skin pattern, a lot of times they'll call that honeycomb, and that is kind of one of those high demand patterns. So I may have to see if I want that for the top so that it's visible. And that's the other thing you have to kind of do when you're working with opal is kind of pick the orientation that best shows off the stone. So I'll have to kind of pick which way that goes, which is going to be hard. I'm going to have to let it dry out, so I won't be able to finish it all today. But now that I have this camera here, let me show you that other one that I was going to work on today too. So this is the other one that I was trying to show you guys earlier. Let's see if it goes from focus. Yeah, not as much, but it has some pretty color. All right. So my sister thinks that all of my opals should go to her, and you're going to have to buy it. I already gave you some stuff. And as long, I only have like I have four sister-in-laws and one sister, and so she likes to play the only sister card. So Sarah, yeah, you're more than welcome to have it, but you'll have to buy it. And this one's gonna be an expensive one, unless I mess it up and it breaks right down the middle or something. So, all right, we will go ahead. I think I covered all the questions. Right now, I'm just gonna keep on working on the clay. And I'm also going to get rid of that chip so it doesn't get worse. Hey, Brent, good to see you again. Some people ask how I got started in opals, and the way I started, I randomly went to one of those gem shows that they have every once in a while. And, most larger cities have them. Actually, most cities have them. It seems like. And I mean, I hadn't even done anything with rocks before. And so I showed up, I went there, I was like, well, I'll just look at some of the stuff. And I found a spot that they were selling the rough opals, the rough Ethiopian opals. And so I looked at them and was like, oh man, that'd be so cool. And, of course, the vendor there was all like, oh yeah, you could cut one. I was like, no, I don't have any machine. And she goes, oh, just sandpaper. I'm like, what? And so she kind of gave me a mini lesson on what to pick out. Like you look for, like I kind of told you, you look for color, you look for interesting color patterns. You want, the most desirable opals should have all the colors in them. So you look for the color, you look for the brightness of the color, you also look for the patterns of the color. Interesting patterns are worth more. And then like what I was talking about earlier, you want to shoot light up from the bottom of the opal and look for cracks. Because if you have lots of cracks in the middle, you won't be able to get as big the stone. And the bigger the stone, the more valuable it will be. And so she helped me pick out a good one, and I spent way too much money. And then I came home, and for the next week, I'd spent about 2 hours, at night, just rubbing it on sandpaper, shaping that. And it turned out good. I haven't sold that one. I'm not going to sell it. I gave it to my wife so that she could have it, and it's a really good opal. Like I'm kind of impressed that well, of course with the help of the vendor, of course. But after 1 or 2 opals using sandpaper, I bought a couple of machines to help me out. Hey, Injured Sandwich, thanks for joining. See, and Sergeant Suicides asked if it's my day job. It's not. I actually work in cybersecurity, so this is kind of my get away from a computer job. Well, it's not even a job; it's more of a hobby. I'm kind of I would call it a hobby-olic or a hobby. Basically, I dive into hobbies really, really fast. I spend too much money, and I learn how to do it, and then I see how long that hobby sticks around. So I've been doing this for 2 years, which is a pretty good run. So we'll see. We'll see if this is going to be the hobby that sticks. You're starting to see here that there's less and less clay. There's still that big patch right there that I need to get rid of, but there's less and less. So just keep working at it. If you're going to ask me what is the easier opal that I've worked with, Ethiopian opal is the easier opal. Um, since it's a big chunk of opal, it's a little bit easier. You're not as critical about, um, you're not as worried about removing the color bar. There's a big crack on the top here that I'm trying to get rid of. Just want to go nice and slow. And I usually try not to shape it yet. Um, yeah, Sergeant Suicide, the sandpaper, that that was rough. It helps so much more to have like a machine like this. It's you can do the stones so much faster on this type of machine than you could on sandpaper. All right, this pocket of clay goes in pretty deep, so we're actually going to lose a lot of material just to get this piece of clay out. Yeah, the equipment can be pretty expensive. Sometimes you can get lucky and you can find some of that used equipment for a pretty good deal. And while it might not be like the new, and all flashy and sparkly and shiny and new, it'll get you to the point where you could probably get one eventually, or at least it helps you know whether you like it or not. Since I do work in cybersecurity, I can't do anything where I don't kind of help you try to be more secure. Just a friendly reminder to always change your passwords. Yeah, let me, before I do that, some people are asking for a close-up of the progress. Let me get just the last few pieces of clay out, and then, because at that point, we'll be kind of starting the next stage. So I'm just going to get at least close. Mainly, I want to get this chunk of clay out. It's really deep. This piece of opal is almost too big to work on my 4-inch wheels. All right, almost. Well, I'll go right here now. I might want to even cut this because I think this piece would make a nice shape right here. I'll show you in the close-up. Let me go ahead and finish getting this out. Okay, I'll show you where it's at right now. Go ahead and turn that down. I should put the paper towel somewhere else so I don't have to reach over my expensive laptop and get opal dust on it. And if you ever ask a question and I don't respond, just ask it again because sometimes there'll be too much stuff going on and I will miss the question. All right, missed. So let me go ahead and pull this off and show you what it looks like currently. Okay, so here we have the opal. Let's see if it focuses there. So we still have this pocket of clay, and when you look through it, I don't know if you can actually see the clay from the other side, and so it actually goes down probably about 2 or 3 more millimeters. So I'm just gonna have to keep getting rid of it, and that's actually going to reduce the weight of the stone because I'm removing material. But other than that, I've got it about cleaned up, and so now I'm going to have to decide which way to orient it and how to cut it. And what I was saying earlier is I'm wondering if I should just make this into 2 stones because right here, so I can't hold the camera. Okay, let's put it right. You can kind of still see it right there. Anyways, okay, I'm pinching off the spot that I could cut off and still make a pretty good stone, I think. So this right here, what I'm holding with my fingers, would be a good stone. And now this section right here would be a good stone. I think what I'm thinking was going to happen is if I try to make it into one big stone, it's not going to be have like a nice, elegant, like typical shape. So I think I can get more value out of it if I cut right here and then focus on, and that way I actually save material because there's a big chunk right here that I would have to get rid of to be able to get rid of this clay pocket. So I think I am going to do that. And that will take some time. And I kind of want to do it while it still has some water absorbed in there to kind of help stabilize it. I've heard, and I don't know for sure, I've heard that when opal is absorbed with water, it's a little bit less prone to cracking and stuff. And so, yeah, right now, if this was like if this wasn't like as high quality opal, at this point I'd go, that would be kind of a cool bear tooth. I made an Idaho opal that looked like a tooth, and so I cut it into a tooth shape. And maybe one of these times I'll show you guys that. So I'm going to pause on that one. I'm actually going to go cut it in a little bit. I'll go cut it in a little bit, and kind of we can keep working on it. So yeah, let me go do that right now. So I'll be back in a bit. I don't have a way here. I'll make a cheap sign so anyone that joins cutting opal in half. BRB. Okay. I feel pretty clever right now. All right. I will be right back. I'll cut that. Hopefully you don't hear a wail of despair that while I cut it, that it cracks. So I'll be right back. We'll get that cut. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and mark it right now. That's the other thing. Markers. I like to use the silver metallic one because it shows up really nice. And this stone, I'm going to cut it. Actually, I'll mark it and then I'll show you before I cut it. So This was, even after I cut it, this will still be one of my biggest opals I've cut, like heaviest, and it's not a triplet. Triplets are kind of, you can't really weigh triplets because they have other stuff. You're using a composite of materials to make the triplet. The actual opal layer is really really thin, so I don't like to weigh um, triplets. So this will probably be, even after I cut it, will be my most heaviest opal stone yet. So let me take this down for a second so you guys can see this, and I'll show you where I'm going to cut it. Okay, so right there you'll see this camera. I need to figure out how to use it. It's probably a good camera. Um, Well, it would absorb ink. That's actually one of the things you have to watch out for when you are buying opals that are different colors. Like if it's a black Ethiopian opal, you have to be really careful that it's not been dyed with ink for exactly that. The reason I'm not worried about the ink right here is because I'll be cutting on that line. So basically, a lot of it will be removed when cutting it, and I'll be grinding away that area anyways. So it's not going to absorb it into it that fast that I need to worry about it. And it's going to dry and won't be absorbed anyways. So I'm going to cut it right there. And then this will be a really nice oval stone. And it'll have a really, I'm going to guess about 15 to 20 carats. Well, we'll see. I might be overestimating. I think maybe 10 to 15 carats. And then this one will be a nice stone as well. So it'll be kind of a cool little, yeah. So I will be right back. Stay tuned, and we will keep working on it. All right, and then I'll put up my sign here, there. All right. So hopefully, yeah, perfect. Hopefully you're all still with me. I am not crying. I repeat, I am not crying. So let me show you what I just did. Oh, there's my Overwatch shrine. I like that game a lot. So here is the larger half. That will make a nice, really good oval, about that long, kind of a pretty good standard size. It'll be nice and wide, and I can actually start shaping it because I'll take that out, and so that'll be good. And then, now I also have this one that, there we have it. So this is a little piece. You can see at this point, see where it's kind of, let's see where it's highly, the focus again. You can kind of see where it's highly reflective, and you really want to be careful when you're cutting the opals. You want to take it nice and slow because they'll crack really easy. So this one, basically I got lucky and it cracked in the direction I was wanted to cut anyways. So we're good there. And now I have two good stones, and I will go ahead and let's go ahead and weigh them, see what we have. Even though they have some of that water weight that I was telling you about, it'll still be an interesting experiment to see. We'll at least kind of know the comparison. So right here, that little one is 12.6 carats, and the bigger one is at 25 carats currently. So let's see if we can keep it above that 10 carat mark. Just so you know, a carat, 1 gram equals 5 carats. So if you ever want to know how much a stone weighs, so there are no more cracks. I've gotten rid of all the cracks. The only thing left is that little piece of clay, and the crack that happened when I was sawing, it is just superficial. It cracked right along the line. So here my saw blade was, and it cracked right in the straight line with my saw blade. So it actually worked out better because then it was less time under the saw, and it worked out. So I'm actually kind of pleased. I like Mountain Dew. All right, so let's go ahead and work on the bigger one because that's the more exciting. And we will keep getting rid of that clay and shaping it. Now I can actually make an easier decision on what will be the top. I'm actually going to take this side, which I thought was going to be the bottom. Now I'm flipping it again, and it's going to be the top because I can take out the clay. I can take out the clay, and that can be flatter and be the bottom. There's a little tiny crack right next to the clay that I'm going to try to get rid of right now. I don't want the cracks to run. They're really fast, and I can't run very fast. I'm really funny, if you didn't know. I mean, I've already found, basically, because of the way I'm cutting this, I've already found that this will be the center of my stone. I'll show you. I don't even know why I try to point. You guys, it's hard for you to see. Maybe eventually I'll figure out how to how to, use multiple cameras or something. I'm hoping I get all the chat notifications. Again, I'm using like a software called Restream, and it basically lets me kind of stream to multiple places. So I'm hoping that like all the notifications I get from YouTube I get, and all the ones I get from Facebook I get, because I feel really bad if someone has said something and I didn't get a response to them. All right, I basically got that crack out. There's just a little bit more I want to get out of it. And I'm going to candle it. I might not, Injured Sandwich, I might not be understanding which crack you're talking about. Which one are you talking about? The one that happened when I was sawing? Because yeah, that crack, the crack that I was talking about when I was sawing, is the crack that actually finished the saw break. So I started sawing. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah. So I started sawing, and then as I sawing, the crack finished the saw job. So basically, I didn't have to finish sawing because the crack did it for me. So yeah, it cracked all the way through. But yes, otherwise it would cause structural issues, and I'd have to grind it out. But it did crack the rest of the way, so it worked out in my favor. Yeah, okay. All right, I just want to candle it one more time before I start shaping, because I do want to make sure there are no more cracks in there. All right, we have a crack-free opal. So here's hoping it stays that way. And I'm going to go ahead and take out the rest of this, and then we can start shaping it. I also like to make sure there's no more excuse me. I also want to make sure that kind of all sharp edges are kind of ground away, because if I just kind of place it down a little hard on a sharp edge, that could make a crack, and then you make a crack, and that's bad. So I do like to make sure I get rid of all sharp edges, so that there's less probability of it cracking. I thought I saw a crack. It was just a piece of my hair. That I got really worried. That would have almost been crying. Okay, I'm actually going to start shaping it before I get the rest of that, because that will just be the bottom. So now, I basically just need to round out this side a little bit more, or like cut it off a little bit. It almost has that good oval shape anyways. This one I'm not going to use a stencil for because I want to maximize the carat weight. And so what I'm going to do is just make it symmetrical, a symmetrical oval. Most of the time, you can find a jewelry setting that will fit it anyways. If it's if it's kind of looking more like a normal size, you can typically find a setting that will fit. Looking pretty good. I think cutting it was the right choice because I would basically, this edge right there wouldn't have really made it. It would have been a more, I won't say bad looking shape, but more unique. This one was kind of more standard, more pleasing to most people. I also need to kind of even out, make it all about the same size, because if you have weird spikes, it's a little hard to judge, the proper shape of your gem. Now I'm going to move it down a wheel, and I'm going to use, so these are diamond, like these are really hard wheels. They have no give. And then the rest of the wheels actually have this foam padding behind them, so I can push and it helps round out the stone. So I'm moving that down to get that water on this one. And so now I can kind of really push on it. It still eats the stone really fast, so I have to be careful. But it's going to help kind of give me a more uniform round shape. Here in a second, we'll take off the rest of that clay, and then I'll do an update view. At this point, I'm not, especially since I'm not using a stencil, I'm not too worried about the entire shape yet, because I still need to make it a little bit more uniform so that I can see what the actual shape is, and I don't have this the weird shapes making it harder to judge what the actual shape of it is. And so far, this is about the size of the stone, and that's still a pretty good big stone. So now I'm just going to clean up that and I'll do a close-up next. I'm going to take it down to the higher grit or lower grit, just because I can take off more material than. There's an interesting pattern that's kind of okay. It's not a crack. It's a really cool pattern. I'll try to show you when I do the close up. But it's almost as if the two colors meet, and then there's like a line where the two colors meet. I'm actually going to leave the back a little bit curved because I think that's going to help with the light so that it doesn't just end. It kind of has more area to bounce around in there. But until I get there, I'm still taking out that clay. Now I'm starting to like actually shape it a little bit more, doing a little bit more shaping than I was. I'm trying to be I'm less aggressive. I'm going to be more meticulous about where the stone is. I'm going to start to try orienting the stone. And kind of making it a fine girdle edge. And I don't really want it to be curved. I want it to be fairly straight. Okay, that's looking good there. Going to take it back down to the. Is everyone still able to see me? Does anyone mind just like chatting and saying whether they everything's still there? All right. Just about there. Great. Just a tiny bit of clay left, and then I'll probably move on to working and doing the top part, and then I'll come back to the bottom and make it a little bit better. So close. Hey, Rowan. Hey, Carson. Can you see me? It's my nephews. Okay. So there's still a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of clay there, but that'll come out when I'm kind of working on the back side. Because this one, like I said, I am going to leave it like a mini cabochon on the back, which is just a rounded side, because I think that's going to help in like with a gem this size and this quality. I want the light to really bounce around and be able to kind of show all that play of colors. So you guys want to see what it looks like right now? Too bad. We'll start on the other opal. Just kidding. I'll show you in a second. All right. Yeah. So here we have it. So there's still those two little. Can we get it? The question is, can we get it to focus? Okay, so really close. Aha, there we go. So I'll try not to move too much. So there's still two little spots of clay on the back, but this is the back. And then it's this thick right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a high dome, and now I'm going to reshape it a little bit. There's still these spots I'm going to get rid of right there, and a spot right there, but that will come off because I'll be making a high dome. So basically I'll just be shaping it from the top, and this will make a pretty good high dome opal. And then again, I'm going to leave that little bit of curve on the back, and I'll straighten that up. So what I need to do now is I still need to make sure my shape is how I like it, and it is pretty close to the shape I want, but right here is a little bit more bulbous than I want it. So I need to go ahead and take that off, and then I'll put it on the dop stick, and we will shape it or give it the cab top. So, and that's another stressful part because I actually have to use heat to, I use wax. I don't like for Ethiopian opals. Some people will use super glue and then they'll use acetone to get rid of the super glue. Ethiopian opals can absorb, they can absorb oils, they can absorb water, and they can absorb the acetone. And the, I haven't seen enough results yet with acetone to feel really confident that it gets all the way out. So I still use wax when I dop them onto the stick for more control. And you'll see that will be part of this right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure the shape is the way I want it. I mean, I could probably go with it, but I just want to get it. And who knows? Maybe I can't even see some symmetry. So who knows how good it'll be since I'm not using a pattern. But I think it'll still be good. The other half of the stone, I'll have to think about that. It is kind of a unique shape, so I need to figure out. One thing you want to do is how can you maximize your output or your retention, and so this one might be a good choice for earrings or something like that, where I could cut it right down the middle and make two earrings that are about 8 millimeter, kind of 8 millimeter studs. Probably round though. I want to get an oval shape on that one if I do that. So, I mean, a lot of this is studying the stone and figuring out how can you maximize the return. Thank you, Injured Sandwich. I'm glad you're liking what and how it's looking so far. Gives me confidence. I think we're just about there with the shaping. Still a little heavy on this side. You want to be careful when you're working with the wheels. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you get a good stone, and you're like, "Oh, this is gonna be so cool," and then all of a sudden, and this happens a lot with, especially with Australian opal, you'll have this nice color on top. You start working on it, and all of a sudden, a sand pocket shows up right behind that color, and you don't want sand visible at all on the opal if you can help it. Sometimes on black opal, it's okay if it's on the back because when you flip it over, you can't see it at all. It still kind of lowers the value, but not as much as if you could see sand from the front. So yeah, sometimes, and you just have to, I mean, it is kind of a risk. You buy the rough knowing it's a risk that you think you have a good stone, and all of a sudden something's wrong with it, where you're going to have to cut it down more and reduce the amount of stone you have, and so you lose some of that value. All right, it's still almost a little top heavy. Fix that. I'm just gonna take down the edge a little bit more. Give it a fatter edge.
How many viewers?
Jeez. Lauren's home.
I scared him.
Quite a few, I think. It doesn't tell me how many.
I can tell you
I'd
on
have
Twitch.
to, yeah, you'd also be able to see it on Facebook and on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But I can't really check that. What do you think? Lauren is my dedicated quality inspector.
Quality assurance. Oh, where is it?
Right here.
Oh, there it is. Quality assurance. How big are you going to make it?
I mean, I'm just shaping it right now, so now I just need to take that down.
What's the bubble?
Just where the water as it absorbs in the
You
middle.
should have it so the camera is
I've been doing close-ups.
like.
I've been doing this. Here, I'll show. All right. Lauren's curious how I've been giving everyone close-ups.
Yeah, because I'd rather wait.
So then I take this.
Hello, window cat. That window. Wait, which cat? The white one.
The white one.
The white one's name is Hufflepuff.
So right here.
Quality inspector. But you don't have the camera going down while you're working? Because I think that'd be so
I
cool.
couldn't figure out how to do it, and anyway, I'm saying to.
Here. Well, you keep working, and well, let's see what the viewers want. Do the viewers want a like top-down view, or do you like the side view? Injured sandwich.
This is high quality inspector.
I know, a lot of times.
All right, so.
Do you think they would want a top-down view?
Well, I think they want to see a shape. I don't know.
I know. I think it'd be cool to see your hands doing it.
Do you want to hold it?
Nice. They haven't said anything. Okay.
Just take the camera out of the thing.
No, I was gonna make it. I'm gonna try.
All right, we have a official video.
Top down would be preferred, but it would probably be tricky with all the dust. I like the side view of Nate. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna try it. Thanks, Justin and Sarah. I'm gonna try this. Let's see. If it's bad, I'll just go. What do you think? Can you zoom in?
I can't zoom in. I can't find out.
You didn't find it?
Well, I can run it, but.
Is that better, Dan? Can they hear me, maybe? I don't even know if they can hear me. Top down, yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's... Awesome, thanks. Okay, they like it.
Thank you.
I'll figure out how to zoom in next time, maybe.
All right. I tried to run the software, but then this program couldn't use the camera when the software that controlled the camera was running.
Oh, okay, okay.
I might just try to use like OBS next time.
Okay, that's cool. Okay.
Well, I think I have it.
Hold it to the camera though. You just put your hand in. You put your hand in there. Hold it like this with your right hand. Yeah.
So there we have it. I think that's shaped. So now.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the part that always takes me a long time because I'm always not sure. Okay, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to do too much, but I want it to look really good. I'd say let's go for it. So, yeah, that's a good point, and that's what a lot of when you watch a lot of the YouTube channels and stuff that kind of show about that, they always say, you know, step back a bit, make sure that you are doing what you want, take a break. But my break, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put it on the dop stick, and well, thank you. We'll put it on the dop stick and we'll start shaping the top. Because also as I shape the top, it's going to be a little bit more even, and it'll be easier to actually judge the entire stone and its overall shape. So there's no more ice in my Mountain Dew. So now, and this is the next scary part, because opal is fragile. High heat can break it. So you have to be really careful. And you don't want to get it too hot, but you do need it hot so that you can actually attach the wax to it. And what we'll be doing is attaching it. Yeah, Control Z. I do not have Control Z with these opals. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dop the back is going to go on the wax. Kind of, let's see. So this is the back of the stone. It's going to go on the wax like that, and then I can have a little bit more control by using the dop stick. So I'm going to put in my trusty. I still think, but we'll just wait. Just wait. So I'm going to put it in my heat grips. Then you get the wax warm. This is just an alcohol lamp. You can basically put kind of rubbing alcohol in it, and it burns nice and hot. Well, it's a low heat flame. And this takes a bit. Oh, I should start finding some jokes I could tell or something during this part, because it's nice and quiet. You could probably hear me pretty good. Oh, there. I don't know if you saw the smoke. You don't want to get the wax so hot that it smokes, because that kind of reduces the life on your dopping wax. I mean, it's kind of cheap. The wax is cheap, but it gets annoying because your stone keeps breaking off and you have to refresh the wax. So we have my wife's brother and his wife and their daughter are here visiting us, and I can tell it's bedtime for her. She's getting ready to go to bed. I guess the other day my brother-in-law was kind of testing out. I was kind of testing the streaming stuff, and he was listening to it on like Twitch, and he said that he could hear her yelling from the other room. It was kind of funny. What did the coal say to the diamond? All right, what did they say? Hold on, let me think. See you in 1,000 years. Yeah, I know that's stupid. I could think of a better one, or not a better one, but what did the coal say to the diamond? Hi, Dad, because coal is carbon and diamonds are carbon. I don't know. I give up. What did they say? You said you've been under a lot of pressure lately, huh? That's good. I like it. Okay, so now the stressful part. So I need to keep the wax hot enough that it's still pliable, but I also need to get the opal hot without getting it too hot that it breaks. And so I'm shaking. My legs are shaking. Not really, but I'd be sad at this point if it broke. So I kind of want to heat up the opal kind of evenly and overall without getting it too hot. And I might have too much wax on the stick. Okay, let's try that. Flip that over. Ah, and there it is. The heat did it. That is too bad. That's a bummer. I'm crying. It wasn't even that hot. All right, so I'll show you what has just happened. Bad day. That's what I was worried of. So now you can see it. You can see those cracks. See those lights? So you can kind of see it reflecting off those cracks in there. That's what the risk got. And so yeah, now I can make multiple small stones because like there's a little stone, there's a little stone, there's a little stone. But that big stone didn't work out. Oh well, that's why I have more. It's a bummer, but that happens. I was hoping that one would work. So close. Yeah, there must have been like some internal cracks that were, and I'm kind of glad that that happened though. I'd much rather have it happen like here while I'm working on it than selling an opal and then having it crack later on. So then it just breaks. That's funny, Sarah. All right, so now break those off. I can make a little stone out of that. I mean, I can make a decent stone out of that. And then this one's going to break again right here. Right there. So that's the right, like, I don't know if it was, I don't think it's not enough. The cat thought it was time to knock over the camera. So I don't think it was too much heat or anything. It just, sometimes it happens. So that's a bummer. Oh well. The nice thing is I still have that chunk right here, and I still have those other nice ones as well. But at least you got to see it looking kind of cool. And that's why, I mean, still, that's why those big opals are, that expensive, is because they're hard to do and they can break. And to get a big opal that goes through all the way through the process, it's kind of rare. Let me see. See if I got everything. All right. Question was heating it in hot water. Um, Heating it in hot water, you'd have to get it pretty hot. I mean, it should get hot enough where you can't really touch it, and the opal was just not stable enough because I've gotten opals really really hot where I couldn't touch it. You don't want to get it. I mean, you watch. There's a video or a YouTube channel I really like, and if you do want to learn how to cut opals, I highly recommend it. It's Black Opal Direct, and in one of his videos, he actually shows you how long it takes for. He was using Australian opal, how long it takes for a opal to crack under heat, and that one, it was like a good 30 seconds of just sitting. You'll see that he does that same type of thing where he puts it over the flame and then he brings it off. But with that opal that he's testing with, he just held it over the flame, and about 30 seconds or 45 seconds, that's when he heard the first crack. But yeah, it's just, this opal wasn't meant to be a big one, I guess, which is too bad because I was getting pretty excited. That would have been a nice spendy opal that I could sell. So you take some risks, and we'll go ahead and I might end the stream here in the next minute or so, so I can go cry in a corner. But while we're waiting for me to get all the way wanting to cry, go ahead and I'm going to cut this one that I showed you earlier. I won't cut it all the way. I'm just mainly going to get the clay off so we can see what it looks like, and then I'll probably end the stream there. So hopefully this one doesn't do the same thing, and because this one is still another good one. So again, it could be multiple things. It could be from the water inside, but most of the time you don't really have to worry about that because the water will heat up with the opal, and the opal kind of let go of the excess heat. It dries out pretty fast. It just, I mean, most of the time you're able to go straight from cutting to dopping to cutting again. So it's just, at least, and remember, I've only been doing this for about 2 years, maybe a year and a half. So there's still a lot for me to learn. But in my experience, that is the make or break point after you get the rest of the cracks out, is when you're heating it. That's when it happens, if it's going to work out or not. So this one, I'll probably, maybe I'll experiment with it, maybe take it slower, maybe shape it and then wait for it to dry a week and then put it on thing and see if that helps, since I know that the rest of the pieces were fragile. And then we'll see what this one does. And that's kind of what injured sandwich you mentioned earlier, about like a microscopic, fracture or something. That is what I mostly assume happens, because I'll have these opals where nothing, like the whole process, they never even crack once. And then other ones crumble apart as you're working them on the wheel. And so again, I wrote much, even though it's sad because I was looking for, I was kind of counting the chickens before they hatched. I'd much rather have it happen here when I'm working on it than have someone spend a lot of money buying an opal from me and then it cracking later on. So yeah, I am disappointed, but I'll keep working on it. So this one, we're going to take the clay off, and what I'll do is I'll actually kind of maybe pre-polish this side to see what it looks like. So I do sell it online. I mentioned earlier in the stream, I'm not very good about posting my stuff. So a lot of times you just have to reach out or, see what you like. But I have it mainly I have it both on my website, which is belkcustomgems.com. So BelkCustomGems.com, or also on Etsy under that same thing. So Etsy, Belk Custom Gems. So this one I had candled earlier, and I didn't see any cracks. So once I get rid of the more of the clay, I'll go ahead and candle it again and see if I have any other cracks. And again, I'm not very good about posting my stuff. So if you ever see me like make a video or make a post about a gemstone and you don't see it on there, just feel free to reach out. Like I like cutting the stones, and then trying to sell them is boring. So you'll notice that when I need to buy more rough, then there's like a frantic phase when I list a lot of the stuff I have. Actually, I'll show you once I finish this the clay here. I'll show you probably my doublet right now, and I'll show you a really good Idaho opal I have that I did. Hey, no problem, Jonathan. I'm glad you're able to come and stay for a bit. I'm also shaping this one as I go because it has a nice flat back, and so I'm going to go ahead and shape. I'm just kind of shaping it more than the other one as I go. This one I actually think will get more retention than the other one anyways. Almost there. Ooh, this one is kind of ending up with like this cool kind of pear shape almost. I like it. We'll see if we can keep that shape still. Just about there. There's that one little dot of clay left. All right. What I'm doing now is I'm just going to kind of quickly polish just a spot on the top because I want to see what the top looks like so I can decide which way I want to orient the gem. Okay. Ah, missed again. So right here, pull this down. So you see, I still have that little patch of clay right there, but I can go ahead and get rid of that eventually. And then we have this one. Right now, there's still a little dot right there, but that little dot is just kind of it should come out during the rest of the process. And I kind of have a start of an interesting shape on this side, so I may go there, but we'll see. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to go get those other opals really quick. And I'll show you those. I'll show you a good Idaho one that I have and a good Australian doublet. And I found another one too, another Ethiopian one. So this one, this is probably one of my favorite Australian opal doublets. It kind of looks like a sunset. I'm having a hard time. Okay, so there we go. So this is an Australian opal doublet. A doublet is when you use the backing, so it's not a solid opal. There's like a backing, and this one I used potch, which is opal that doesn't have any color to it. But I like that one. That one's pretty cool. I wish I could make it here and zoom in really close. See if we can focus it. Yeah, sure. Let me pull it out of the case. So right here, trying to get it to focus. Bring it a little more. Hey Vic, I failed. It broke. So I cut it, and then when we're getting to the part where I had to put on the dop stick, the heat cracked it. So this one is just I'm trying to show what I have. This Australian. This is an Australian doublet right here. So this one has a cool like sunset pattern, and then right here, so you see that side, that thin slice of opal on top, and then the backing. So it's still like an opal like this. If it was a solid black opal, I would expect it to be, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 for the size and for the colors. But because of that it's a doublet, you can save quite a bit of money with that. And so this one I actually have it listed for like $350. So if you want the look of an opal, but you don't want the super expensive black opal prices, look for doublets. So then these are just two Ethiopian opals that have, I was expecting the colors to get kind of nice and bright, kind of like these are. These ones I didn't cut. These ones, one of my, they went to a gem show and saw them and grabbed them for me so I can use them in a setting or something. So these ones are cool. They have this cool honey pattern or honey body tone that is pretty unique. And then this is an Idaho opal that I did recently. So this one is it's actually called a triplet. Let's see if I can get. So a triplet, you know how a doublet is a slice of opal on top and another stone on the bottom. A triplet is usually a thin slice of opal in the middle, and then like a quartz cap on the top, and then a backing stone. So you see right there the clear quartz cap, and then the middle is the opal, and then the backing is just another stone. For this one, I use basanite. But this one is a pretty good one. This one, because of its size, you don't really get opal very often in this size. This one, I'm planning. I haven't even listed this one yet. I'm actually thinking about reshaping it a little bit, making it more like a trillion cut versus just a straight triangle. This one I plan on listing for about 400 to 500, mainly because of the size and all the different colors there. And it's kind of an interesting way the colors work, how they kind of move when you're looking at them. So yeah. All right. Well, I am probably going to head out now. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. I think that was pretty fun. I'll do this often as well. We'll see if I get another expensive opal that I'm going to be able to show you how to break in the future. So, but so these Ethiopian opals. Someone was asking the price on these ones. These ones, anywhere from 800 to 1200 because of the brilliance of the color. Just even in low lights, they shine and flash. So 800 to 1200 per stone on this one. The opal I broke, I was hoping to get, let's see what it weighs. I was hoping to get maybe anywhere from $30 to $45 a carat on that one. And right now it was at 15 carats. So you can do the math for that one. So I'm a little bummed, but it happens. And we'll see what this one turns out to, that other one that we started. And yeah, we will proceed next time. So thanks for joining. And I'll just answer those last few questions. So we have, what kind of cab machine? This is a Diamond Pacific Pixie. It's a smaller one than their other ones, which works really great for me. It fits on my desk, and I can have it in the house without making too much of a mess. So okay. Well, and thanks for subbing. That's awesome. I'll be doing this. I'm going to try to do it maybe once a week or something. I tried to make YouTube videos. I'm not very consistent at it, so keep an eye out for those. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.